I don't know if you guys also feel the same way, but like lately I've just been really wanting to play and just having fun with my games, not really focusing too hard, just playing moves and enjoying the games. And when that happens, I sometimes get a little bit sloppy with my game. So I'm hoping that today we can go back and play a solid style. I'm going to be moving to a different area for a little bit and hopefully being able to record a lot of real board games coming up in the next couple of weeks. That should be kind of fun. And I got to also start working really hard on some of my Sumego and such so I can be ready for Go Congress. It was kind of fun to watch the pro qualifiers and see how some of my friends are doing. I'm feeling a little motivated. We'll see what happens. So let's get into a game here. All right, so I am white. Let's see if they decide to play. Cool. And I'm going to want to try to focus on getting back into a very solid game because as I said, I've just been having fun and that can be good and bad. So let's just play very simple here and block this way. We're going to face our own side this time. I think that's one of the simpler ways to play here. We don't need to follow up right away. What we really want to do is we want to approach the bottom left. That is just as big as taking a 3-3. And we want to just back off. As I said, very solid. Even if they come back up here, we're not going to do anything that's too complicated here. They're wanting to apply a bit of pressure here. But it's a little bit difficult to do that, honestly. But we could just defend or jump out. Or we can take their corner. I think it's a little bit too small to defend this group right now. And so I either want to take their corner or extend along this side. If I extend along this side, they take the bottom. So I'm going to take the corner first. Then we can show you how to handle this group if you want. Ah, that one. Double Hane here is very questionable. Because after I capture this stone, this group is actually the one that's in trouble now. And so I'm very, very happy with this result. I'm very glad that I decided to take the corner. Like I always say, I think it's good enough to exchange this right now. And you can see that when I push here, not only am I separating the stone, I am also threatening the Hane here, making this a very strong position for me to attack from. We can come over the top with this move, which is also a ladder, which we have. So let's just play from this side here. This is, I think, the slightly weaker side. And then if they jump up, if they're jumping up, then we can jump up as well. In this case, I do want to probably Hane at least one time. So we do have strength here, but we want to separate. This is the most important part, is this separation here. And this is where we will want to figure out the best way to fight back. So he can capture this one stone or this stone, I think, right? With the ladder here. Right? And so in order to stop that from happening, we could Atari and push, or we can just not worry about this stone entirely. I think what we want to do is we want to protect on this side, force him to capture this stone, get strength over here. So now we're basically alive and we don't really have to worry about anything. Just keep coming out toward the center. I think that'll be the simplest way to play. And if we jump, there is cutting Aji. So we are just going to extend towards the center. And we have enough eye shape with this group on the left side. I think it's still more important to focus on this group. Here we could decide to extend down, which is jumping into the corner, which can get us another eye if they don't respond. Or we can extend up to have a little bit more strength towards the center. I think either one of them is a perfectly acceptable move. In this case, I'm just going to extend up. Haneing there is a little bit bad because we're going to be able to get towards the center first. So we will block, which keeps a little bit of eye space for us. Even if they can clamp here, we don't need to worry about end game right now. We need to worry about getting out towards the center. So we can either jump or play the knight's move. The jump is sort of threatening this group a little bit, whereas the knight's move is making better shape and threatening to come down towards the bottom. But I think it's better to threaten this group a little bit more. It's not a severe threat, just a little bit of one. And we can just extend, be nice and simple. We just need to get out towards the center as fast as we can. And now he's done. He doesn't want anything else to do with us. You can respond however you want here. We have this group that wants to have a lot of strength. And so if we back off here and we can lean on the bottom side after he tries to build it, it's likely that we'll be able to keep that strength. Oh, wow. Okay. In this case, I will be very, very happy to kick and attack this stone because we get to save our weak group, and you'll have to run towards this here. The only thing that I'm worried about, though, is this cutting point and fighting here. But let's see what happens. So let's play the star point just for fun. This allows us to play a 1 space jump towards this group if he plays from this side. If we play a little bit closer, it's harder to play one move to separate and make a little bit of an eye space. So I think this is a far enough away to do that. Wow, okay. If we honey over the top, they're likely to be able to get some very easy eye space here. So I think I want to honey underneath to prevent the very easy eye space. Then we can just Atari. We're not going to play anything that's too complicated. They can live if they want to. We want to connect on the bottom here to prevent them from living very easily. This is just going to be one of those complicated games. We're just going to have to live with that. So I really want to think about this because what I really want to do is I really want to fight here. But it feels questionable. So I think I could easily just jump over to the side and that should be good enough. So I'm just going to play the simple move. I don't really want to, but I'm going to. And we also have this ability to sort of harass this group a little bit here with this move. But we're able to connect very easily, and he is not necessarily alive yet. And so what I want to do is I do want to separate pressure and have this little bit of ladder breaking. And we're just going to maintain our connection as well as getting in the way of the ladder here. So he wants to make sure that the ladder is fixed. He wants to do it in Sente. But in this case, we are definitely going to just attack this group here. Oh, he responded. Okay, now we'll just defend. The idea was if he pushes over here, we can very easily fight back. And so that would be the goal here, to very easily fight back. I guess he wants to also fight back. So we can Atari here, I guess. And this is getting a little awkward. So in order to make it less awkward, we're just going to get rid of some stones. If we try to really do too much here, it becomes, yeah, it just becomes a bit too ridiculous. So we're just going to give up. We're just going to give up these stones. We're not going to try too hard. We're going to capture here, preventing this from being a big deal. And this also is making it so the corner has a little bit of Aji. And we're just not going to worry about anything. So here, if we really want to fight back, we can back off a little bit. This will help us maintain a little bit of connection. And he will have to try to live directly, which is not entirely possible. Oh, interesting. Okay. He needs one more move in the corner for this to work, or he can play here if he wants to. I guess this is fine. He really is trying his best to take every little bit that he can, which is kind of interesting. But he's not alive. So we're just going to defend ourselves and not worry about it. As I said, just defend. Don't really worry. Just defend. Any move here. Good enough. So now you see that there is this weak group. There is this weak group. We can attack them at the same time in some way. And because we defended, we don't really need to worry as much about our stones.
9.
So I'm not exactly sure which direction I want to go, but let's just block off the center for now. And so he wants to just connect up this direction. So let's let him do that. Oh, being a little bit greedy. So let's just surround this group now. He didn't want to connect up to his group. He wanted to defend this side. So let's attack this one. The idea here is really that we want to just make it difficult for him. The more bad exchanges that he makes against our group in order to live, the more likely we can go back and maybe even damage him over here. So let's just defend ourselves. And we can still just come out like this. This was the goal. Yep, just connect. You see we're getting some really good moves against our own air. Whoa, what's this? I believe this one is kind of an interesting move. We can just not worry about it. And we have kind of two options here. We can force him to live, right? With this move, we sort of force him to live. And then we can go back to this group over here. That's probably the correct way to play. So let's do it that way. The other option is to try to be very aggressive. And I think that's usually a bad idea. So let's just tell him he has to live now. Only one eye here. Now he has to make his second eye.
9, 8, 7.
So just giving it up, which is interesting. That's entirely possible, for sure. The only thing that we have to worry about is this potential weak group. So we want to do something about it. We went offline. Anyway, we want to do something about it.
9, 8, 7.
So what we could do
9
is
7, 6,
play something
5.
like this, where we're just trying to connect in a very secure way and very quickly. If he tries to cut it off, this stone has a little bit of Aji, so he has to be very careful. He keeps disconnecting now. He is on mobile, so if he disconnects and loses because of that, that'll be a little bit sad, but I think this game is interesting so far. I still haven't gotten back completely to being my 100% solid self, but I think this will still be an interesting game to look at. Okay. So now he's going back here to try to live. Do we have any weakness that we need to worry about? And can he connect anywhere? If we block here, he has this move, which there's a little bit of Aji on this side. So I would want to defend on this side probably. But I think this is the way he can potentially try to get out. So let's just play very, very solidly. This would also potentially let us attack this stone in the future. This group is definitely alive. It has more than enough eye shape.
9, 8, 7, 6.
And now he's trying to live with that move. So he can play this peep here. So we're just going to... maybe we can play this one. If he extends down, we can push. He does this one, we can push here. They're just going all in for killing. My bad. This also expands our eye shape a little bit. So what I'm wanting to do with this move is I want to create Mi-Eye to get rid of both of his potential eyes here. That's all I was trying to do.
9.
He's playing the Hane. But we can peep first, which will threaten to cut the stone off. And we just connect back or cut. Either one was fine. Now that he connected, we can turn here to make sure we have a very solid position. If he's able to push and block here, he gets an eye, so we can just turn. When your opponents play like this, you do have to know how to kill. It is very important. Now he's cutting here, which I think is just a mistake. We have two options. we could go for the larger area. We Atari here. He connects. We connect. He pushes through. We connect. He cuts, and we just connect back. Or we can play the safer variation.
9.
In this case, I think this one probably just works. Okay, so now we went back here. If we play this one, he could do this tiger's mouth, which is threatening our group. So I don't want to do anything that's too much. So I'm just going to defend here first. I want to make sure my group is secure before doing anything else. And now my group is basically secure. So we can push here. And now there's nothing really to worry about. And we can just reduce this side of the board with like a move like this. We don't want to give him everything on the top, but it's fine if he gets a little bit. Yep, just continue to reduce. We could have also switched to get a couple more points in the center, but doesn't seem very necessary. No, we could do it now. This Atari seems like it does do something. He wants to push and cut, though. I'm just going to defend, like I said, I should do.
4.
I don't know why he played that move. I'm not exactly sure. But this allows me to capture this stone, which feels very good. Or at least, if he saves it, I get to very easily cut this off, which feels very good too. I think he's doing this in slightly wrong order. I can connect here, and now this Atari is a big deal. But, okay. I was going to say he could cut there and potentially capture the 2 stones. I might give it up to make sure I'm perfectly fine here. But in this case, I'm just going to be able to save my group and not worry about it, which is really nice. This just allows me to reduce even more here, which is also quite good. Threatening to capture these stones. I think what I want to do here is I want to secure this center area. Get a couple points, make sure there's sort of nothing left, or even maybe capture this stone in Sente. Looks like I can capture here in Sente. I can push and cut. Okay. I said I think I want this Atari. Just feels good. Get a couple extra points everywhere and a lot less Aji. And that's all that matters, a lot less Aji.
5.
Now we just need to play some big end game moves. This is still pretty big, but I am alive over here pretty quickly because I'm also connected everywhere else. I don't think I need to worry about this connection. So I'm going to be playing here to attack his corner a little bit. Just a small amount. And then I want to come down on this side. Threatens to jump in a little bit and also secures this territory, which he's going to try to take away from me. All right. I think I will prevent him from going deeper into the corner. And I can just block here. He doesn't have that many liberties, so even if he can cut this off, it doesn't really matter too much. So we can just block. Yep, just connect. Keep it very simple. There's no way for him to live here. 0 chance. Yep, just connect, connect, connect. And even if he does something like this, we can very easily just Atari, and you see there's only a couple liberties with this group. And so instead of having to really try to capture it right away, we just want to make sure everything's connected towards the center. Prevent any sort of weird capture race there. He only has 4 liberties, so it's a little bit difficult. We can throw in if we wish to. Looks like we can just throw in to make sure that it's kind of difficult for him to live. And then take away the eye is very important in this sort of capture race. Now there's no chance of him getting anything. This was just to very simplify the area. And just need to connect here. He still has to be careful in this area because these stones are not completely captured. They still have 2 liberties. So he has to be a little bit careful with how he handles this. It looks like we can fix this for free, which is really nice.
8, 7, 6, 5.
So I'm going to just push this way and make sure there's no Aji here. Then if he does this one, we get to fix for free. If he captures now, we can capture this one. A lot of the game is creating Miai points. In this case, we get to connect here for free. We already have 2 secured eyes, so we don't have to worry about any
9,
capture race in the center of the
8,
board.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Blocking now. There are a couple peeps and other random ugly shape issues here.
9.
So I wouldn't mind just protecting the shape versus protecting the points in this case. We don't really want him to be able to cut over here, for example. Yep, just connect. Oh, got my fox coins. And as I said, we will just be nice and secure. I'm not really sure what he's doing here. I guess he's trying to kill this group. It's a little bit difficult to do that.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
We can do this one at least for free. And just connect solidly. Interesting. This is still an eye, so I'm not exactly sure why he wanted to do that one. But whatever works. He is not necessarily alive in the corner, so let's play this move, threatening to cut him off. Let's see if we can get anything in the corner. Doesn't matter if it works or not, but we just want to try to get some sort of move in the corner here. Maybe extra in-game, extra something, right?
9.
With this sort of shape, you almost always want to throw in at least one stone here when you can.
3, 2, 1.
Connecting right away. Hane, cut, Atari. There's a Ko there. So we can probably get this move for free. We don't have to worry about this Atari anymore. So we don't need to worry about the liberties on this group. And we can just try to get something here in the corner. So we can get something like this here. Which is creating a potential eye for this white group in the corner. And even if he just has to go back and capture everything, this can be very good for us. This one here, he does that when we turn. Is that one, he has to at least capture something. If this one, and there's a Ko shape. So I think I'll go with this one. He can throw in if he wants to. But I think the Ko shape might be a little bit more useful for the liberties on the outside. So I'll capture once. And I'm not going to be able to capture the corner. This is purely just to make it so his liberties are bad. I want to emphasize that even more, right? Anyway, I'm just going to play a big in-game move and not worry too much. So this is actually a fairly big in-game. He can capture that if he wants to now. But he at least played an extra move there. Interesting move. I feel like I can Atari here. And then extend here. This move would be Atari. So we can Atari here nicely. We've captured some stones. And I'll capture these. I don't mind. I think that was just a misread on his end. He didn't quite notice what was going on. I could turn here actually and push and cut these stones off. But I'll just defend for now. We'll make it very simple. That was a bit too much. He wasn't really that much of a threat of dying in the corner. It was just an annoyance. So he lost too much for something that wasn't that big of a deal.
9.
We'll just defend this way, I guess. He has a double Atari, so we want to just make sure he can't do that. I did like that he was trying to defend in a way that would maybe get him some extra points or do something else, but it just wasn't quite right. Or we already established that this wasn't an eye earlier on, so you just have to remember to play that move when they do this and not just connect automatically. I was tempted to connect automatically. So yeah, you got to be a little bit careful with that. Now there's a ko there, so we just want to connect here solidly. This is probably not a good move because now I can wedge here. Yeah, so we had to be a little bit careful with that one. Because now I can do this wedge, and he can't block this way anymore. Which is just awkward. A lot of these pushing exchanges are often not good. So it's best to avoid them whenever you can, unless you know for certain that you don't need those liberties. That's the hardest part.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, and we can capture the 3 stones, which is really good for us. I don't know if it matters which direction. I guess we could have extended to capture instead. That might have been better. But I'm not too worried. We'll just play basic endgame and not worry too much about it. Yep, just capture. This isn't too important of a move because we're connected all the way through. So I do want to get this one in while I can. It's threatening the other eye here. So that seems pretty good. I think we can connect here. And maybe even get this move for free. Because he has to make sure to live. This is why not being alive is not very good. I think I will just connect now because I want to do this clamp. If I do it now, though, there's a potential for this code to matter. So I don't want the code to matter. I want to keep it very, very simple. The bottom group I've been ignoring for a while, but it does seem entirely possible to kill it. So I just want to start with getting some good in-game first. This move doesn't really matter. It was just a 1-point move. So let's take this one, which is a little bit bigger. Yep. And then let's see if we can capture these 3 stones with this turn here. As you know, we have plenty of liberties on this group, so we don't really need to worry about the liberties here. But we do have to be a little bit careful overall. He does not have 2 eyes yet, so he also has to be a little bit careful too. So we're just going to be pushing in from the outside. That's the best way to kill, especially in endgame, where even if you're not sure you can read it out properly, or maybe you're worried about the liberties, right? Just pushing from the outside is never going to be bad because you're at least reducing the points.
9, 8.
I thought he might
7,
resign a little bit earlier, so that's why I
5,
wasn't going to go after the group,
4,
but
3,
it seems
2,
slightly difficult
1.
here, so looks like he did decide to run out of time. All right. Oh, that was a kind of a long game. Maybe I will cut off some of the end game aspect of it, but maybe I won't. I know some people like to see that because they want to see finishing the game, because finishing the game is just as important sometimes as the earlier sections here. I hope you enjoyed this game, and I hope you're having a good day. Have fun.